Now, when you give someone something for free, what does that immediately do? It creates a very conscious tension of obligation to reciprocate. It's called the law of reciprocation. When you give something to someone, it creates a conscious tension where they want to do what? Give back. All you need to do then is direct them how you want them to give back. You will find that at least 70% of people will give you a testimonial before they've even used the product. Now, I'm not saying do that. In fact, I'm saying don't do that. Because what do you want? Do you want fake testimonials or do you want authentic testimonials? You want real testimonials, okay? That's what people want. And it's very easy to get when you actually give something of value first. Give something of value first and then you'll get virtually anything you want. Now, what's interesting is I've been able to sit down with some of the biggest people in business. Why? And I've been endorsed by some of the biggest people in business. Why? Because every time I meet someone who's in a position of influence, guess what I do? I give them so much value without them asking that they start saying to me, what can I do to help you? What can I do to say thank you? You've given me so much value. How can I give it in return? It is that simple. Now, not everyone's going to do it, but I'm telling you, the majority, 95% of people will. Does this make sense? Does this sound sexy? Can you see how you can use this in 14 days? No excuse. There's no excuse. Now, let's look at what we've looked at so far. A little bit of a summary. We've looked at the relationship with money. We've looked at the story of money. Okay, your excuses. We've looked at the most powerful strategy on the planet for making money. Now, out of all the wealth that I've observed, out of all the wealth that I've researched all over the world, do you know what the #1 wealth creation vehicle is on the planet? It's a business. And I've just given you not just a business, the #1 business strategy, I've also given you a business that you can actually go out and actually start working on immediately. Now, what I'm going to give you now is what I call the unfair advantage. Because one of the other things that I hear a lot of people say is, Kerwin, you know what, I'm sure I could be a lot more successful if I just was a little bit more motivated. I'm just not motivated. I would love to be motivated. Anyone here suffering from a lack of motivation? See, I don't have a problem with motivation. I'm always motivated. Why? Because I'm very clear on a number of things. When I sit down and I research wealth, I look for what are the top traits that they all share. What is it that every single one of them has, not just one or two here and there. The first trait that I've observed in wealthy people is every single wealthy person I've ever interviewed and ever researched and profiled and studied, they all have a reason for making money. When I sit down with a wealthy person, I say, why is it you are here? Why is it you are doing what you're doing? They can spit out their reasons without even thinking about it. And guess what they typically relate it to? Fun, love, passion, and family. Fun, love, passion, and family. They are typically the biggest reasons. The biggest reasons that I have found that have had the most tremendous shift in people are 3 things. Meeting someone of the opposite sex that they fall in love with, having a child, or a near-death experience, or of themselves or someone close to them. They are the top 3 reasons that I observe in the wealthiest people on the planet for them getting out of bed every single morning. What's your reason? Because when I sit down with people who want to make money, who don't, I say, what are your reasons for making money? What is the reason that you are going to hang on to when it comes to making money? And do you know what the number reason do you know what the #1 response that I get from people? I say, what is the biggest reason you have for making money? And this is when I ask people who don't have money. Do you know what the biggest response is? You ready? No money. Let me think about it. I know this one. They're not conscious of their reasons. So therefore, if they're not motivated, they have to remind themselves of why they're motivated. Why am I doing this again? Oh yes, that's right, my family. Oh God. It is the people who are conscious of their reasons that don't have any problem with motivation. I'm very conscious of what my reasons are. Would you like to know what my reasons are? Yes. I'll share them with you later. The second one is higher purpose. What is your cause? What do you represent? What's really interesting is when you look at the top echelons of wealth on the planet, there's some of the biggest philanthropists in the world. Bill Gates is the single biggest philanthropist in living history. He's given more money to charity than any other human being on the face of the earth in history. And do you know what he's most well known for? Windows crashing. Now, I'm a PC guy, And every time my PC crashes, do you know what I do? I sit there in gratitude knowing that my purchase is changing the life of some African child in a third world country. Now, do you know what's really interesting? When I started doing that, guess what my PC does a lot less? It doesn't crash anywhere near as much as soon as I started changing the association. But before, when it used to crash, I'm like, damn this! It used to happen constantly. It was just like my ego teasing me, taunting me. What is your cause? What is your high purpose? Every single wealthy person on the planet that I have researched has a purpose that is bigger than them, that is a legacy. So the question I've got for you is, what is your legacy? What organisation are you obligated to that requires something from you on a monthly basis that is pushing you beyond your current limits? Because let me ask you a question. Who thinks they'll be able to find a way to make more money? If you had 100 orphans in Thailand banking on you to provide 3 meals a day, medical and schooling from them, who thinks that you would maybe push a little bit harder? Absolutely. It's for some of you, maybe that's what you need to look at doing. Is obligating and committing yourself to a cause that is going to make you push yourself and going to make you stretch. Because if you're not going to do it for you, you've got to do it for yourself. I've got this idea for a seminar. It's called the Shotgun Seminar. Helps people find their reason. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a stool and get people come up one at a time, like a group like this. And imagine John comes up and John says, hi, Kerwin. It says, hi, group. And everyone says, hi, John. I say, okay, John, what are the top 3 things that you're going to do in the next 30 days to increase your wealth? And John goes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And everyone claps their hands and John walks off. And then the next person comes up. And then the next person. We get every single person to do that. 30 days later, we all convene in the same auditorium again. This time, I'm standing on stage with a 12-gauge shotgun. John comes up on stage, he sits down, and I put the barrel on his knee, and I say, okay, John, just read out your list of 3 things that you had to do in the last 30 days. Look, everything you haven't done, I'm just going to pull the trigger once. Who thinks John would get stuff done? No NLP required. You see, for the most of you, who's got kids? Put your hand up if you've got kids. Okay, bear with me here, and don't attack me before I'm finished. If I kidnapped your child and said, you've got 3 months to make $1 million legally, otherwise I'm going to start sending you their body parts in the mail, who would find a way to make $1 million? Please hear me when I say this. It's not a question of can you make the money. It's a question of have you got a reason that is big enough and compelling enough that is going to push you to do whatever is required in order to make that money. Making money is easy, okay? And people hate it when I say that. Do you know what is hard? The hard part is building enough reasons in your head so that you just don't stop no matter what. And the last thing I've observed with wealth is mentors. Every single wealthy person on the planet learnt from somebody else before them. And most of these guys didn't go to free seminars. Do you know why? Because wealthy people understand the value of an investment. They're not looking for free advice. They understand in order to get good advice, you need to invest in it. What I find fascinating is some people will do more to wear the latest in fashion than they will to set themselves up in a business or in some form of a vehicle that will set themselves up with wealth for life. Would you agree there's something dysfunctional about that? Then don't participate. Please hear me when I say this. Whatever it is that you want to achieve, find the person who can help you achieve it and then invest in them. Because if you don't invest anything in your education or in your pursuit of wealth, what have you got to lose? Nothing. What I've observed is people will typically do more to prevent loss than they will to avoid or to acquire gain. People will do more to prevent themselves losing $100 than they will to try and make $100. Don't be that person. Now, who said that they want to see my reasons for doing this? Because would you agree, who's interested to know more about me as a human being? Okay, cool. I'll make it very clear what my reasons. This is one of my reasons. This is my mum. On her 61st birthday, I actually took her skydiving. This is my mum. This is me. I had a fear of heights, so I did 200 skydives in 12 months. I'm no longer afraid of heights. I'm now afraid of being on the ground. This was actually a wealth creation strategy. It didn't work. She lived. It was a joke. I love my mom, it's okay.